the 6th episode of the Creative Wanderer podcast.
Your weekly jaunt into creative inspiration.
We are Jo and
Amelia.
Hello, Amelia.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in this week.
Today, we'll be talking about week 5 of The Artist's Way, recovering a sense of possibility. Why is it that we limit ourselves in our expectations of how much we can receive? We talk about how our newly recovered sense of integrity empowers us to get down to the nitty-gritty of examining the rewards and payoffs that we get by staying stuck. We're stripping away our social conditioning of being a good girl or boy and the need to fit in. Instead, we're finding our authenticity, and we stop using others as an excuse for our stunted career growth. And most of all, we stop shifting the blame onto others. If you would like an extra member of your sacred circle, we are very happy to help. We can offer you our support in a number of ways. You can email us to let us know what you're enjoying or what you're struggling with at creative_wanderer@yahoo.com. Please follow us on Instagram at Creative Wanderer. All you need to do is replace part of creative with the number 8 and the beginning of wanderer with the number 1. Please share any pictures or affirmations which resonate with you. The question that happens every week, and it is the most important question of all. Amelia, how did you find this week?
It was amazing. It really expanded my space, and I loved all the exercise that dealt with dreaming.
Ooh, yes.
I loved recovering the sense of expansion as a being and as a creative, knowing that the universe we live in is infinitely abundant and that it is us who place limits on ourselves. I found the virtue trap section extremely healing, and I've uncovered some deep-seated self-sabotage, especially in those moments when I denied my authentic self by failing to balance my needs with the needs of others.
Well, I also found the virtue trap enlightening.
Yes.
Actually. It felt very cathartic, didn't it? And the virtue trap quiz brought a lot to light for me. I loved writing my wish list. That was just joyous. I really enjoyed drawing a cartoon of myself with my nose forever in a book. As you know, fantasy fiction is my favourite creative block.
I loved the ability to dream. I believe when we dream, we create space and time stops.
The first thing we're going to attack are limits.
Yes. It's incredible how we limit ourselves and we have limited notions of what we are able to accomplish.
Completely. The voices within, they start to speak to us of a bigger, better and more expansive creative life, which has the potential to bring us rewards of abundance. And what we do is dismiss these amazing opportunities, these hunches, as crazy or impossible even.
I think you're right, Jo. We are now in week 5 of our artistic recovery. And now it's time to start dreaming, to start thinking of the possibilities. And also our creative process is pushing us in that direction.
Yeah.
We take our careers and our plans seriously, but then there is the universe that's running parallel to our plans and it wants to help us. And it throws all these bones at us, but we don't take those seriously.
Because it's playful. And I think when you're told you have to be serious to be successful,
yes,
we forget that actually where you find all of the inspiration is in playfulness, and the universe is playful.
But it's also our relationship with God. Some point in our artistic journey, we've got to address our spirituality.
Yeah.
Because creativity, in my experience, is intricately connected to spirituality.
Definitely.
I don't think one can exist without the other. That spiritual realm of possibility that allows us to dream and think big and to think of ourselves as magicians.
Yeah.
It is something that is untouchable. I think it very often trickles through that untouchable life force, God, universe, however you want to name it. There is that connection and it cannot be broken.
I really enjoy your term life force, and I think that's what I'm going to stick to.
I love it because whenever I say life force, it always reminds me of something that's so dynamic and it's moving forward. It loves anything and everything that is alive, and it will align with your dreams and it will help you think up amazing levels of possibility.
It's the infinite abundance that the life force has. We forget that it's unlimited. It's abundant in so many ways. We go on thinking that it can't possibly be abundant for us, but it is, people.
Spirituality can be so intangible. You can't really put your finger on it. I like that term gossamer. It's floating about, but you can't really see it. I like to remind myself that Mother Gaia, our planet, she constantly creates.
Yeah.
She is creation and creator both at the same time and in abundance. Julia says she doesn't just birth one flower.
There's not just one pink flower. There are thousands of
flowers.
pink flowers.
Not just one leaf, thousands of leaves. Not just one drop of water. My goodness, look at water. Water is immeasurable.
She also says that the snowflake is the ultimate expression of creativity because no two are the same.
We are the ones who really limit our existence on this planet, because when you look at everything else outside the human race, everything else is prolific and abundant. Millions of animals.
But look at every one of us.
Yes.
We're not the same.
You can liken the human fingerprint to that snowflake pattern, couldn't you?
100%. We have a problem when it comes to how abundant money is, because we've been told that we lack money. You have to have money to be able to do this. You have to have money to be able to do that. And we forget that actually the life force gives us abundance, and that is akin to an unlimited bank account.
People say abundance, and immediately we think of money. But abundance doesn't mean money. My realization in the end was that abundance speaks to expansion.
Yeah, for sure. I think of my life as being an abundant life. It's rich in creativity, in the fact I'm very fortunate to live where I live, to be able to go to the park every day, to see all of nature being abundant.
The other realization I had was that I've also put limits on my expectations and my expectation level, and how limiting one's expectation level of how much one can receive is intimately connected to that sense of possibility and a sense of abundance.
That's a lovely thing to say. It really is. Raising our expectations is so vital. People say, oh, well, if you don't expect much, everything's a surprise. No, put yourself out there and say, here I am. This is what I would like to do. This is what I'm doing. And don't limit yourself by making yourself small or making your creativity small or thinking that nothing you do is going to get to where you want it to go. Just go for it and do it.
It could be as simple as asking yourself, how much do I feel I can receive? I've never asked myself those questions. What are my expectation levels, limits in terms of how much I think I'm worth, I can receive, how much love, money, success, even how much I can create?
That's so true.
So in this whole area of possibility, we can also trip ourselves up by relying on luck or thinking there is only a small amount of luck to go around.
But I don't believe that luck exists, you see. I think that they are just opportunities taken or not taken, rather than saying they're just so lucky. No, they're not. They just took an opportunity, or their parents took an opportunity that's put them in a position that's different to yours. Take opportunities when you see them.
What's that expression? That luck is that moment when the opportunity and preparedness intersect. You're ready, and then the opportunity appears right at the same time.
And then you leap on it.
If we are consistent in our everyday creative routines and we do it step by step, all of a sudden this lucky break appears out of nowhere. Poof, there it is. And we tend to think of those things as lucky breaks.
Yeah. They say, don't they, when people win newcomer awards, they've been plugging away for 7-8 years.
Absolutely. So there is years and years of sweat and preparation.
So it's not a magic wand moment. It's constant, repetitive progress and process towards your goal. We're always learning. It's not like you finally get there and you go, I've done it. I never will learn anymore. Thank you very much. It's wonderful. I'm now the very best.
Yeah.
We are infinite. Abundance is infinite. Opportunities are infinite. Creativity is infinite. Money is infinite. Food is infinite. Happiness is infinite. And on and on and on we go. One thing I wanted to quickly touch on, and that is having a clear vision of your goal.
Yes.
And then working towards that goal.
Yes.
So when you're that ballet dancer getting bloody feet, working 10, 12 hours a day in the studio, that's that clear vision of the goal and knowing that that's where you're going.
Yes, because it helps with a sense of possibility. You're chugging along on that path. You know what your goal is. It's clear. And then you can dream within that space.
Yeah. And Julia's pearl of wisdom, we must learn to let the flow manifest itself where it will, not where we will it.
That's right.
Allow it to come to you when it comes to you.
The life force is gifting you an opportunity. Of course, you don't know what's coming because it's a gift. And usually a gift comes with an element of surprise.
Yeah.
So if it does land on your doorstep, do not send it back. Allow for the life force to surprise you.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
If you're at that point in your career when you're just about to expand as a creative, but you're procrastinating.
Yeah.
and you're not taking any further steps. You're blocking yourself, absolutely. And we need to think about what is the payoff for staying blocked.
Yes.
It's staying comfortable, isn't it? I won't put myself out there because I'm safe at this precise moment in time. What if I have to then push myself that little bit further? What are the possibilities?
We reach a certain point of expansion, and that pushes us to the outer edges of our comfort zone. And then the day comes when we need to step outside that edge. Now that's the moment we need to slow down and really look and listen at what are we hanging on to. I know for me it's my sense of security, and I don't want to be bothered. And sometimes you think to yourself, they want me to do that. It's a great project, but will I be able to do it? I might not be as talented as I think I am. Just hold your breath. Jump into the unknown. You are going to be okay.
This is the best pearl of wisdom. Be open to all help. It's being open to everything rather than just closing yourself off.
It's a good statement to contemplate on. We very often brush it off. We say, of course, I accept it all. But when we spend a bit of time dwelling on this statement, we realize that we might not be truly accepting all the help that comes our way, and that we reject a lot of it.
Yeah, we often say, oh, there's no point. Or the kicker, it's probably too good to be true.
Or my favorite, oh, I don't want to bother you.
Yeah, you are.
But I feel like I'm inconveniencing other people. People love helping others.
And especially if that help has already been offered.
True.
You never know where opportunities will come from or in what form. And that is the beauty of surrendering to possibility.
Keyword there, surrender. It's true. It's so hard to do sometimes. But I guess we are cultivating and learning about trust on this Artist's Way journey.
And letting go. And part of that letting go is when we realize we have found the river.
Ooh.
That our life is the river.
Right.
And we need to let go and be in that flow of life.
I guess a river never worries where it's flowing to. This week was all about becoming more positive, more true to ourselves. We are also learning how to censor ourselves less, and how to speak our truth more freely, and how to listen better, and how to actually listen for the truth that other people are communicating to us.
It also gives you the BS radar.
Right, that's true.
If you can hear the truth, you can also hear the untruth.
Yeah, I think we learn to view ourselves and others from a much kinder place.
Definitely. Our artist child within is speaking to us more frequently as well because we've started really listening to it.
Yes.
Listen to that little voice that pipes up.
I've had instances in my life when I've noticed how people actually stop communicating when they realize that they are not being really listened to.
That's
right?
very true.
And this artist child has been trying for so many years to speak to us in very simple, pure terms.
Yeah.
And we would not listen to it. And after a while, it stopped talking. And now we've started to speak to it. And now it's bubbling up. It's chattering. When is your next artist date?
Yeah.
What are you going to write in your morning pages? And it's wonderful to observe. There is a lovely Julia pearl of wisdom that speaks to the fact that at this point in our journey, more and more of our authenticity and truth is being revealed to us and to others. And we are also discovering it and uncovering it in other people. She says, we find we are able to tell more of our truth, hear more of other people's truth, and encompass a far more kindly attitude toward both. We are becoming less judgmental of ourselves and others.
And I've actually found that over this past year, where people have become far less judgmental and much kinder.
Right.
And much more willing to accept what other people are going through and offer help, which is rather beautiful.
It is nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is important to look at life through that lens of love.
Oh, without doubt. The recovery for this as well. It's rooted in finding our flow in the river and saying yes to it. Yes to navigating its course and its waters. Calm, choppy, shallow or deep. We embrace it all. When we do that, we embrace the adventure. If we just stop grasping onto the boulder of fear, like clinging to it, and let ourselves go with the flow of the creative stream, that's where we find the expansion, the possibilities, the beauty in our creativity.
I just love the whole idea of comparing ourselves ourselves to a river, because a river flows through so many different countries, climates, scenery, geography, and it's not always even. And so our life will not always be even. There'll be fast-paced parts, rampant. There'll be floods.
Yeah.
And then there'll be those moments of, I always imagine this beautiful, deep blue river flowing serenely through a savannah in Africa. Beautiful animals just taking pleasure and joy in the waters of the river.
The river carves its own path. It doesn't wait. It makes its own way. It does it itself. It isn't made to do that.
It's self-willed. It doesn't need anyone's acceptance. It bores through whatever obstacle there is.
Boom, I'm coming through.
When we look at our creative flow and our creative life as a river, we flow through different scenarios at different speed at different times in our life. We can then take on that adventurous spirit of a river. We can start slowing down when we want to and realizing this river is flowing through this incredible scenery. Let me experiment with it. Perhaps I can start playing with this scenery. Perhaps I can push myself in a different direction. Maybe I'll try salsa dancing this week.
You could try skydiving.
Yes. Painting, why not?
You could try many different things because, you know, as you turn a bend in the river, you could see something completely unexpected. And once we stop trying to swim against the flow, we can take in the scenery. And this is what changes how we then react creatively.
It's just going back to that gentle exploration that we had as children. What can that do? What does this box do if I shake it?
Yeah.
You know, how does the clock work? What's behind that mechanism? It's so important to cultivate what Julia calls an attitude of gentle exploration.
She does in fact say, by holding lightly to an attitude of gentle exploration, we can begin to lean into creative expansion. By replacing no way with maybe, we open the door to mystery and to magic.
Isn't that lovely?
I think we've reached that moment in our journey, Amelia, where it's time to take a moment to stop and reflect.
Ooh.
You ready?
Yes.
Ring that bell. I always find that so healing. So, Amelia, what are we going to be reflecting on this week?
Well, we are reflecting on that gentle exploration because as we step into it, we might find that we are curious about certain things that we've always wanted to do in our lives. We've put them on the back burner and now we are ready to explore. So we might start exploring with our surroundings, or we might find that we are dancing more or singing more or even wearing different clothes.
Yeah. Have you had any such moments in your life already? Maybe you went through them subconsciously.
Has there been a growth phase that you went through, an in-between period when your tastes and preferences changed?
And now you look back at that time in your life and you ask yourself, what on earth possessed you to buy certain items, wear certain clothing, or cut your hair in a specific style?
Those are really good questions.
They are really good questions.
So I guess they just illustrate that growth and expansion and that curious attitude towards life can happen at any moment. And we might have actually gone through a number of them already, and it's all part of our growth.
Oh, it is. Another part of growth, though, as well, is not falling into the virtue trap.
Ooh, so what is the virtue trap?
It's self-sabotage of our authenticity.
We don't want to do that. In fact, what we have been doing on our journey so far, we have been doing everything to recover and rehabilitate that authenticity. So please, Jo, tell me how not to fall into the virtue trap.
We need to put ourselves first.
Oh, right.
Because what we do in a virtue trap is we put other people's needs first to the detriment of our own. It's all right to put people's needs first, for sure, and we all do that. But if it's to the detriment of our creative time or our space to be creative, we need to look at it, don't we?
I do now understand that as artists and creatives, we must have downtime to do nothing on our own.
Yeah.
It's okay to have those moments of solitude when we are curled up on the sofa with a book or just taking a walk. Being with ourselves, with our thoughts, even an afternoon nap is a nice way of spending some time with myself, just allowing myself to take that rest. I realized, Amelia, you do not have to beat yourself up for wanting some alone time. For a very long time, I've actually felt guilty for having that time. I always felt I needed to contribute with that little time that I had left to somebody.
And it takes a lot, doesn't it, to defend that time to do nothing. It takes courage and conviction and huge amounts of resilience to do that.
Our artist dates teach us that, don't they? Because artist dates are an extension of the tool that help us with the virtue trap.
Definitely. And I struggled with that. Not everybody's life is the same. So people do have other people who expect part of your time to be theirs, for you to give your time to them. And that's lovely because you want to spend time with other people. But if I don't spend time on my own, really connecting to myself, I start to get all miserable and out of sorts. You start to really resent not having that time on your own.
That's true. That time alone for artists and creatives is healing time.
Yeah.
So it's all about establishing that balance, understanding those moments when we are asked by others to comply to their demands and wishes. And we need to be honest with ourselves and say, well, is that in balance? Have I given myself the me time I need? There's that saying, you can only give from a full cup.
Oh, I've never heard of that before.
You've not heard of it?
No, but I love it.
You've got to make sure your cup is full and then you can give to others. So fill up your cup first, have your downtime, have your healing time, and then you can share it with others.
That's nice. Julia also speaks about if you don't allow yourself this time and you give your time to others, or other people expect your time to be given time and time again, you become furious. Before long, you could be saying things, I could kill you when you interrupt me. Get out of my face.
Right.
You don't want to be angry with the people that you love. She also says, which I think is horrifying, the most terrifying thing is when our warnings are ignored and threats of homicide give way to threats of suicide. Because then you're trying so hard to carve this time for yourself. And if you're just not getting it, you just end up thinking, well, what is the use? I'm trying to create and I'm not being given that space.
It's more about giving it to yourself. We are allowing others to gobble up our time. But because we want to be perceived as good people and as somebody society approves of, we then actually sacrifice our own creative time. And with time, such behavior becomes a pattern. And then we start becoming passive aggressive towards those people.
Yeah.
Now, they don't know it because we've never set our boundaries.
Yes, that's
We never
it.
said to them, I need my creative time. And on Thursdays between 5 and 8, that's my time. That's it. You guard it with your life. And then you say, by the way, I can help you on another day. It's not about stopping our impulse to help others. It's lovely to help others. It's about finding the balance between our creative time and our time when we help. You said it. After a while, we just give up. We stop creating, that's the thing.
Yeah.
And then we start assigning the reason for that to other people.
Rather than owning it.
Yeah, you always ask me for help. I keep helping you. You're draining me. And it's like, you've allowed that person to do that to you. So that's that virtue trap. But then again, there is nothing wrong with virtues, is there, Jo?
No, absolutely not. The Artist's Way talks about recovery of our virtues. So let's think about, what are virtues, Amelia?
Virtues are defined as moral excellence and righteousness, goodness. They're also defined as an example of kind or moral excellence. And virtues are the ideal qualities in good human conduct. In Christianity, virtues are the fifth of the 9 orders of angels in medieval angelology. It comes from Latin and it means moral strength, high character, goodness, manliness, valor, bravery, courage, excellence, worth. It actually comes from vir, which means man.
Wow. But Amelia, I believe that you have a list of all of the virtues.
I didn't want to be left with a feeling that virtues are something negative.
No.
They're actually really beautiful characters that we should all aspire to cultivate in us as human beings. Some of them are justness, loyalty, fairness, honesty, kindness, tolerance, forgiveness, respect, politeness, dignity, admiration, friendliness, and love.
Oh, they're lovely. Where did you get that from?
A little booklet called The Way to Happiness.
How nice.
They're gorgeous. We have been gifted with them.
People are often virtue signalling, but that doesn't mean they're actually being virtuous.
Exactly.
The problem is when you're caught in the virtue trap, you feel that you must be nice to everybody and worry that you're being selfish if you're looking after your artist, yourself. And you end up guilting yourself into sacrificing your creative solitude for the comfort of others. The more you do, often, the more is expected of you.
I love the way Julia talks about this creative solitude. She calls it the retreat of of solitude, the need to voice out and articulate the needs and requirements of an artist's life and a creative process. It's healing and recharging.
That's right. A sabotage of the need to nurture yourself. It has big payoffs.
We fall back into our artist dates as a tool that helps us avoid falling into the virtue trap. It's important to schedule them weekly and defend them and do them alone.
They teach us how to say yes to ourselves and no to others. And ask yourself, what am I saying yes to by saying no? Love it.
The ultimate price we pay when we fall into the virtue trap is self-abandonment, self-imprisonment, and finally self-destruction.
I don't want to have that happen. But it has happened many times before, I'm sure. Self-destruction is often misinterpreted. What it really means is, are you destructive of the self?
Really look at yourself and take responsibility for your creative process. Are we self-destructive? People will say, no, I'm not. But this section gets you to sit down and be honest with yourself and see, what am I doing and which actions am I allowing that are slowly chipping away at myself, the authentic self.
When you put your needs secondary to the needs of others, when what you should really be doing is taking care of and safeguarding your artist, it really is detrimental to our true self. It can be a Sisyphean struggle to relearn saying no to others or learning how to play for oneself.
We'd rather be pushing that stone up the hill over and over again sometimes than actually looking at ourselves creatively or expressing ourselves creatively.
Yes, it's awful, isn't it?
When it comes to our true creative selves, we don't fit a mould, do we, Jo?
No, thank goodness for that.
Our true creative self is wild and free.
It creates in wild abandon.
Yeah. There is no place for fear of disapproval in authentic creativity and artistry. So what is the remedy, Jo?
Well, it's love in the true sense of the word. Not conditional, not self-obsessed, narcissistic love. That's not love. Loving yourself is a beautiful thing. And don't worry about what others think of you. Ask yourself, am I doing what I love?
That's true.
When you're doing what you love, your heart sings. It makes you feel absolutely whole. So we have to give ourselves that gift.
Yeah. We've spoken a lot about authenticity, knowing your authentic self.
So what is authenticity? It's the quality of being genuine or true, acting on one's own authority, being original, genuine, and having principle. And it comes from Greek authentikos. It also comes from autos, meaning self, and hentes, doer or being, self-being, self-doer. That's beautiful. It really is.
It would be nice to end our ponderings.
Our wonder ponder.
Our wonder ponder. I love that. By reading out another Julia's pearl of wisdom. And she says this: by seeking the creator within and embracing our own gift of creativity, we learn to be spiritual in the world, to trust that God is good, and so are we, and so is all of creation. This is the way we avoid the virtue trap.
Hurrah, there's a way. In this chapter, the virtue trap quiz is fantastic and you have to answer it quickly, and I'll just tell you a few of my answers because I really enjoyed them. The biggest lack in my life is time. The greatest joy in my life is painting. If I let myself feel it, I am angry that I worry.
Wow.
Yeah.
What I love about this section is the question at the very end.
Oh yeah, does your life serve you or others? Are you self-destructive?
What really landed with me was, does your life serve you, not others? And there should be a balance, and for me the balance had been out for a very long time.
I feel that too. You enjoyed the Forbidden Joys exercise, didn't you, Amelia?
I did, because that exercise points to the virtue trap. Very often the virtue trap shows up in those activities that we kind of forbid ourselves to do. Those are the activities you need to be doing to get yourself out of that virtue trap. The only person on this planet that is denying you is yourself. The Forbidden Joys exercise will help you with recovering your sense of adventure. What is the crazy thing you want to do? And listen to the answer. It can be something quite simple.
You might want to get on a bike and cycle around a park.
There you go. This exercise allows you to say yes to yourself.
Also, think about what you wish for.
Yeah.
I wish I had an art studio. Well, let's wish that into being.
You know what's wonderful about the wish list exercise? We realize that our creativity has a voice and it speaks to us through these wishes that we have, and it wants to express itself. It also teaches us how to listen to that voice.
Yeah.
Nothing is too frivolous or too silly. In fact, if you feel that those wishes or desires are, do them.
We now come on to the tasks. The one that I really liked was the person I blame for being blocked is. I wouldn't have answered this the same way before I did this. I used to blame my parents actually for not allowing me to follow my dramatic dreams. You know, but now I take full responsibility for any blocks that I launch into my creative path.
I love the 10 items that I would like to own that I don't.
Ooh.
So halfway through the list, I realized these 10 items involve others. So through my wishes, I was also including others. Hang on a minute. I'm sure the idea of this exercise is for yourself.
You got virtue trapped.
I got virtue trapped.
Snap.
I had to rewrite my list and rephrase it in such a way that actually really focused on me.
Well done.
Thank you.
Oh my lordy, Miss Amelia, what do I see before my very eyes? It's the inspiration station.
Wow, we always love a good inspiration, don't we, Joe?
We bloomin' well do.
So, what was your inspiration this week?
Well, my inspiration this week got me thinking about how our imagination is linked to unexpected discoveries. So when it's unexpected or not linked to what we may have imagined, it makes your imagination fire up.
It does, doesn't it?
It really does. I'm currently reading the Red Rising series by the incredible Pierce Brown, who has such a grasp on humanity. And this excerpt is from the second book, Golden Sun. And Darrow O. Andromeda says, "We have languished in darkness, but there will come a day when we walk in the light. It will not come from their mercy. It will not come from fate. It will come when brave hearts rise and choose to break the chains, to live for more. You must choose for yourself. Will you choose the hard path? Will you choose to be my friend? Will you rise with me? Or will you go as all who have gone before, never knowing what might have been?"
So, what was your unexpected discovery?
I didn't expect to find possibility in this particular piece.
I get you. Which brings us to something we will explore next week, which is choices. Possibility is linked to choices, and creativity requires us to languish in a lot of choice.
The abundance that is choice.
Exactly. Yeah. And this little passage does give people choices and possibilities.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
What have you got for us, Amelia?
I had a really good look at different definitions of possibility and abundance. Just to give us that sense of richness and wealth.
Bring it on.
Plentiful, abundant, bountiful, profuse, copious, luxuriant, rich, lush, proliferative, fertile, fruitful, fecund, rife, plenteous, bounteous, proliferous, fructeous, productive, high-yielding, propagative, generative, flourishing, thriving.
Ooh, they are all such good words, aren't they?
None of them refer to money. There are so many words outside money that we can connect to abundance.
That's very true. Oh my goodness. Can you believe that we've come to the end of yet another episode, Amelia?
Already?
I'm afraid so.
Why does our time go by so quickly?
We are having fun. Amelia, what is coming up next week?
Week 6 of The Artist Way, Recovering a Sense of Abundance. We'll be talking about money.
Ooh.
We'll be examining our beliefs about money and our attitudes towards money. We'll also be exploring the idea of luxury. It is going to be a week which will bring up a plethora of emotions.
I cannot wait. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in again. We hope you've enjoyed this episode. Thank you for wandering with us. And remember to
always be on the lookout for the presence of wonder.
See you next time.